Town planner for the town of Johnston. Offices at 100 Irons Avenue. I would like to reiterate the mayor's two requests as expressed in previous meetings. Number one, the town must be assured that the town will not be liable for any maintenance or failure of any future confined disposal facilities that are located in the town of Johnston. Secondly, state contractors and workers should be selected for remediation and construction. The mayor is very adamant that these jobs not go to out-of-state contractors. I would like to offer the following comments as my comments as town planner. Number one, the town of Johnston is an abutter of the Centredale Manor site. None of the pollution was generated in the town of Johnston. And yet we are being asked to bear the brunt of the disposal on-site and in upland areas. Secondly, the town of Johnston bears a disproportionate burden statewide in the disposal of landfill material. This must not continue without a win for the town, and we realize that this is an opportunity for a win-win for the town of North Providence, the town of Johnston, and the EPA, if this is cleaned up right and if it is a net benefit to the town of Johnston. We're definitely supportive of cleanup of the waters, but it cannot be at a cost to the town of Johnston. Several sites have been, I believe there were 5 sites that are looked at in the town of Johnston. We are very concerned that any of these sites do not adversely affect the tax revenues to the town of Johnston, and that would be with property tax or tangibles tax. Secondly, that this does not displace jobs in the town of Johnston. This is very important to us, that we need to be supportive of the existing jobs that we have in town. It's much easier to retain a job than to attract new jobs. Thirdly, this must be in the discussion of the jobs issue, those jobs also have a multiplier effect in the community. For every employee that works at these sites, they build, or they use the local economy, they support the pizza parlors, et cetera, and so there's a multiplier effect for those jobs in the local economy, and that should be addressed. Number 3, it must be a win-win, as I said, for the town of Johnston and for the EPA, and that mitigation for use of confined disposal sites must recognize this for the town of Johnston. We are supportive at this time of selection of 100 Irons Avenue, the DPW site, as a potential confined facility disposal site. We're also supportive of use of the former tire dump that we understand has been remediated up along Railroad Avenue. That's at this time. This is information that we have currently. The town of Johnston is working with an EPA contractor on visioning for reuse of these sites, specifically at 100 Irons Avenue. And I want to call people's attention to the fact that we have scheduled a visioning workshop on January 11th, 2012 at 5 o'clock at the Sarah Barnes Elementary School to discuss the potential for recreational reuse of the site at 100 Irons Avenue. A couple of issues, though, that need to be addressed, and I wanted to comment on those specifically. We do have preliminary support for relocation of the DPW elsewhere in town, but this must be paid by the EPA or the potentially responsible party. Secondly, we do have preliminary support at this time for recreational reuse, again, to be paid by EPA and the potentially responsible party. Third, we need the assistance of EPA in public education regarding health risks for use of recreational facilities. We understand that this is a concern among residents in town, and we really look to the EPA for support in this area. And number 4, we understand your limitations, or you've expressed your limitations today on how far the EPA and the potentially responsible parties can go in assisting the town in beneficial reuse of these sites. This is a huge burden to put on the town of Johnston to expect us to negotiate with the potentially responsible parties to make sure that the outcome is a win-win, and I feel that this is a disproportionate burden put on the town, and any kind of assistance from EPA is definitely appreciated. Again, these are my comments only. One other point that I want to raise regarding use of 100 Irons Avenue is that there is an Narragansett Bay Commission sewer interceptor that bisects the site. We need to maintain access, or the Bay Commission needs to maintain access not just to the manholes that are located on the DPW property, but access to the line itself in the event that it would ever need to be replaced or repaired. And we're concerned that any deposition on top of that could adversely affect the integrity of that line itself. Again, these are not comments coming from the town of Johnston. These are just concerns that we feel that the Bay Commission should be aware of. In closing, I'd like to say that the town is supportive of restoring water quality in the Woonasquatucket River, but it must be a win-win for the town of Johnston.